Good morning and welcome to June's Yoga. For those of you celebrating Easter, I hope this is a very happy Easter day. And so what I'm doing in yoga today is family yoga. And there may be many of you who are gathered together because of lockdown, but you actually have 3 generations in your house. So there may be children, there may be mums and dads, and there could even be a granny or a granddad or an older relative staying with you. So today's yoga is going to be in 3 parts for each of the poses. And the first one we're going to do together is triangle. So what I want you to have a look at is if you feel very stretchy and you think you can do a full triangle pose, then stretch your legs nice and wide, turn your body so that it still faces forward, take your arms up, nice deep breath in, and exhale down as low as you can comfortably go, and maybe look up to the ceiling, but if that makes you feel uncomfortable in your neck or you've got blood pressure problems, then you look straight ahead or down at your foot. Now if you're feeling not quite so stretchy, you just come to about this level, so you still get a sideways stretch. You can still look up if you're comfortable or stay looking ahead. And if you feel a little bit squeaky and not so stretchy today, then you don't take your feet quite so wide apart, but you just bend sideways and reach for the sky. So if you've got an older person or someone who's a little bit tight in the muscles, this is one they can do. We always do both sides in yoga. So again, for triangle or trikonasana pose, you're going to turn your foot to point to the other direction this way, and you're going to stretch your arms up on the in-breath, and as you exhale, you come down as comfortably as you can to extend, reaching for the sky, and see where you can go with your head, either up, straight ahead, or down at your foot. If you're feeling not quite so stretchy, don't take it so deeply, but still reach for the sky. And if you're feeling that this is all a little bit difficult and more than you can manage, keep those feet together. Bring that other arm just a little bit down your thigh, and again stretch from the side. So triangle, trikonasana, a lovely sideways stretch in 3 levels. The next one is a balance. It's tree pose. Now, if you're feeling very steady on your feet, and you know that you can do this pose well and comfortably without wobbling or falling over, then you shift your weight onto one side, you gently bring up that leg, you turn it out to the side, and you possibly can get this foot to press in towards the thigh, keeping it strong, maybe letting the branches of the tree grow and stretch. And if you're a little bit less able to do this one, then that foot can just come to a lower place on the leg, still standing on one side, still let those arms grow. And if you feel that you don't have balance at all, well, leave that foot on the floor and just pop the ankle to touch the other heel. So there you go. Lovely big stretch. The branches can still grow, and you can enjoy being a tree. We always do the other side, so again, starting low, if it suits you better, you can grow your branches and you can still be steady. If you can, you raise that foot a little higher. And for those of you who can breathe steadily and keep your gaze, gently lift that foot up, bring that heel in towards the thigh. See if you can rest it there and grow your branches. So 3 different levels of doing your tree pose. Well done. We're going to take a look at downward facing dog. So for those of you who feel you can, you're going to come down onto all 4s. You're going to stretch your hands out below your shoulders. You're going to tuck your toes underneath. You're going to lift your bottom very high in the air. Look through at your feet. Breathe gently. If you can, stretch your heels to go down.
If that's not so easy for you and you feel a little bit squeaky in the backs of the thighs and the hamstrings, keep those knees bent and lower your bottom a little bit. There's the dog pose, Adho Mukha Shavasana, to suit people who are just not quite so bendy. And then if you're still not finding that very easy, and that's absolutely fine, it may be your first time to do yoga, then come up against a door or a cushion on the sofa, stretch your arms out, just do a little bit of a bend here, and you can always have your hands against a wall or the door, but you feel the benefit of the stretch in the back of your legs. Well done. So those are our 3 standing poses. What I'd like you to do now is come down onto your tummy, and we're going to have a look at the cobra or the snake. So for those of you who can, and any pregnant mummies, you don't come down on your tummy, but you can do this if you feel you've got a little bit of movement in your lower back. So keeping your arms tucked in, you take a nice big breath. And if your back is not very bendy today, then you just come up a tiny bit and you look ahead in front of you. And when you feel ready to rest, you bring your head down and turn your cheek to one side. Those of you who can go a little bit higher, you bring your head up, you push into your hands, you come up a little bit higher, and you might stretch here and breathe for one breath, and then bring yourself down. Turn your cheek to the other side and have a little rest. Those of you who know the snake or the cobra, Bhujangasana, you're going to breathe and lift and really stretch up and look up towards the ceiling, shoulders down, and breathe. When you feel ready, come down, make a little pillow, and take a rest. The next pose, we're going to still be sitting on the floor for this one, and this is called staff pose. So what we're going to do is sit on the floor, if you're comfortable, with your legs stretched right out in front and your toes pointing to the ceiling, fingertips here right by the edge of your bottom. Take your elbows back, sit up strong and powerful. Think of that heart raising to the ceiling. Think of the power in your chest and wonderful breathing. If this is a little bit more tricky for you, and being so strong and upright and long straight legs, what you can do is bend at the knees and then have your feet on the floor, but still lift that chest, open that heart and breathe. And then for those who can't get down on the floor and all of that is a little bit tricky, you can do it from a chair. I've brought in a little stool here, and so you can do it by just sitting, having your knees bent out in front, sit up really tall. If you've got arms of the chair or something to push on, you can still sit up very tall. And this is called Dandasana or staff pose. Feel your heart lift, your spirit soar, and breathe here. So the last pose that we're going to do is a twist. And again, if you don't feel quite so twisty and you don't feel you can get down on the floor, you can stay seated. You can be on a chair and you can actually turn sideways to sit on the chair so that with your opposite hand on your opposite leg, you can hold on to the back of the chair and you can twist and turn, take that shoulder back and look over to the other side. And in yoga, we always do both sides of the body and notice the differences. So again, if you're seated, you do it from here, you twist the other way, hand on the thigh, other hand behind you, stretch and lift up through your chest, relax your shoulders and turn to look over to that side. And you might want to repeat the side that's a little bit more stiff or a little bit more difficult. So if you're able to be down on the floor and you don't need the stool, then we'll just take this off to one side and you're going to look at the way that you can do this.
And so for those of us who can feel that little bit more comfortable on the floor, bend one knee, pull it in close to your chest. For this Marichinyasa, the seated twist, we're going to hold that knee and we're going to turn round the corner, and we'll just see where we are today when we start to twist and turn and look over your shoulder. When it comes to the other side, you bend the other knee, bring it up, give it a little hug, squeeze it tight so you lift your chest, you look over to the other side. Those who feel they can do that in a full concentrated bend, then this knee bends, the foot comes right over to the other side, you give that a huge hug and a squeeze, and you might even be able to press that elbow into that knee as you turn and twist to look over your shoulder. Breathe and relax. And finally, for the other side, knee bent, cross over, give it a hug and a squeeze, turn to look over the shoulder, and there we go. We always finish our yoga with a little bit of quiet time. If you're sitting on the stool or on the chair, then just gently bring your head down into your chest and breathe with your eyes closed. If you're either kneeling on the floor or you can be sitting cross-legged, whatever's more comfortable, this is your time to just gently bow your head down. One great big stretch of the arms as you look up to the ceiling, bring the palms together and drop your head back down again. And thank you for joining me in yoga today.